Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. We are here to talk about the 2023 debt ceiling, what happened and what it means to us. All right, our heroes, the politicians, they have done it again. They have managed to raise the debt ceiling. This is shocking because it's only happened 78 times before in history, and this was number 79. They managed to do it again for the 79th time. All right, a little background on our budget. About 2/3 of our budget is mandatory, meaning they have to pay it in the form of Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, veteran benefits, prescription benefits, and most importantly, the interest on the debt. The juice keeps running. So in 1995, a bill passed that said that they have to pay this mandatory part of the budget. Almost all of our tax dollars coming out right now go into paying for the mandatory spending. The other 1/3 left over is called discretionary, and that is spent on things like national defense, foreign aid, for example, sending money over to Ukraine for the war, education, transportation, things like that. Now, most of the time, what they do is they say, okay, we're going to raise the debt ceiling. We're going to borrow more money, create more dollars out of existence that weren't there before. And we're going to put a cap on that of another 2.5 trillion, right? Well, this time they did a little something different, and they simply put a timetable on it, but no dollar amount. All right, so think about that for a minute. Normally, right now, the debt ceiling was raised from 31.4 trillion, and instead of saying we'll add another 1 trillion or 3 trillion or 7 trillion on that, they simply said we'll revisit this issue on January 1st, 2025. Now, what's so amazing about this, and I'm sure this is a complete coincidence, is this happens to be right after the next election. How lucky did they get with that? So there's no dollar cap on the amount of this. It's simply they will revisit it January 1st, 2025. So maybe by then we'll be up to 36 or 37 trillion. Okay, they're naming this the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2023. Now, one caveat with this, and one thing we need to know when governments name acts like this, is you have to take the 180 of it. You have to take the inverse of it. So like when we had the Inflation Reduction Act, if you take the 180 of that, it actually created a lot more inflation. So it's a little play on words there. But if you call it the Inflation Promotion Act, whatever the opposite of reduction is, Inflation Increation Act, I don't even know if that's a word, but this one's the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2023. So if we take the 180, the inverse of that, the Fiscal Irresponsibility Act of 2023, and that tells you what it actually does. All right, now how is this most immediately going to affect the American people? I would say the number one effect is probably going to be the student loan moratorium has been reneged on. That is going to start getting repaid in like August, September. About 45 million students are paying an average of about $400 a month that they haven't had to pay for a while now, and they're going to have to start paying. Now, if the population of the United States is 330 million, because it is, and 45 million of those students have to pay an extra $400 a month, that's going to add up quite a bit. That's almost 15% of the population. So that $400 a month, I mean, that's almost $5,000 per student that they didn't have to pay before. That's a car payment. If they have to choose between the car and the student loan payment, that car is getting repossessed. That extra $400 a month that was going towards spending it in restaurants or on, at the mall is now going to the student loan. Small businesses are going to suffer. Once this kicks in August and September, it's probably going to be a few months down the road. That's, I think, when the recession will hit. Time will tell. We shall see. So, unless politicians are ready to level with the people and let them know the consequences of kicking the can down the road and putting the interest of the debt on our unborn grandchildren, then this is going to continue. And I believe it will always continue until the Humpty Dumpty falls off and you can no longer put them back together again. And the reason they kick the can down the road is because if they continue to put this on the credit card and continue increasing the debt limit of the credit card, then the crash doesn't happen on their watch, right? if they level with the people and they say, hey, we can't keep putting this on the credit card forever, we need to start backing down on Medicare and Social Security and some of these other programs and handing out cell phones to homeless people, then they don't get elected. And the other guy that promises to put it on the credit card does. So that's why this will continue. And the way that we make money from this is we invest in precious metals, gold and silver, because they can print and type as many numbers in a screen as they want, but they cannot print gold and they cannot print silver. And eventually those precious metals do an accounting for all the surplus debt and currency that they've created. I hope you got something out of this. Hit the like and subscribe, and we will talk to you next time.